Shooting straight, that's the way, with major havoc every day. Guns and gear, we review it all. For the Second Amendment, we stand tall. Join the crew, subscribe today.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Major Havoc here for Havoc Gun Reviews. Today we're going to do just have a conversation on budget 2011s, and we're going to say, let's talk upgrades. Just going to have a brief conversation on, why is it I really enjoy shooting the real nice top tier and upper mid tier 2011s, but I just have an affinity and just an affection, a desire to take budget 2011s, and I say budget, what I'm saying are entry level, like 1500 and down. From I guess from 6 or 7 to 1500. I'm going to classify those as budget. Your mileage may vary on what you classify as budget. And I'll tell you my procedure on evaluating them and then on the upgrading. And I'll keep this kind of simple as someone new to the platform, what you would look for. And then my rationale on the procedure I use to make a decision on should I upgrade it, what am I going to upgrade, when and how, and do I set a budget and stuff like that. So before I get into it, let me just let the YouTube know nothing is for sale on this channel. These are my own personal firearms. They're in a safe and controlled environment. Everything is no ammunition on the table, no ammunition in the firearms whatsoever. This is just for demonstration, education, and possibly some entertainment. So well, let's get started on the beginnings of budget 2011s and kind of what I do. So what I have here on the table today is a very popular 2011. This is called the Mac 9 Double Stack Comp. So let me make sure you see it's clear. Okay. No magazine, nothing in the chamber. So it's clear. This is the compensated model. That's what they call it. But we know in all actuality, this is a chunk comp in the barrel. And then the chunk in the slide to let the gases out. So when I buy a budget 2011, I basically, thinking about what's the cost of the gun, what's the purpose of it, and what am I going to do with it going forward. But first I want to evaluate it. So I never spend any money or send it off for any machining or anything until I have evaluated it as it comes from the factory. So I'll take, the first thing I do is when I get the firearm, I'll kind of unbox it, inspect it, disassemble it, just field strip it, not totally strip it, but just field strip it, clean any of the manufacturing gunk, goop. Hopefully it doesn't have cosmoline or anything like that on it because, but just get it all that machining, oil and grease, grit, whatever, out of it. And then I'll lubricate it with the oils that I use, and I'll get it range ready. Load up some mags, the mags that come with it, and a couple different Atlas, MBX, Checkmate, Staccato mags, etc., just to see how it's going to run with all the mags. And I'll head to the range. And I'll try to shoot within, the first 2 range trips, I'll try to shoot 500 to 800 rounds. And in that time, I'm seeing how is it performing out of the box, so to speak. Am I having any sluggish return to battery or any failures to eject or failures to return to battery, etc. And I'm watching the ejection pattern. Most of the time, we all know they're going to be oversprung from the factory. We'll have these 5-inch models that might come with 10 or 12, 13-pound springs, I don't know, but they're definitely going to be oversprung most of the time. The triggers are not going to be where I like them or anything like that, but we're going to shoot it and just see, I'm going to determine in that first or second range trip, is this a keeper? Is it a keeper for me? Do I like it? Am I going to take it to the next level? So once that is determined, then I have to make the decision, am I going to do it, bam, just all at once and just send it away and have it come back to the nines, just dressed up, rock and roll, performance ready, or am I going to take it in stages? So this one right here was done in stages. The initial stage was shooting it straight out of the box. And then the next thing I did was I just said, well, everybody that experiences a 2011 needs to experience a good 2011 trigger. This one was, a little bit crunchy out of the box. It wasn't bad. If I recall, the 5-inch one was, in that, 4-pound area. Certainly not bad if you're coming from a striker fire especially, but you deserve to have the features and benefits of a 2011. That's a nice trigger. So I basically just tuned the trigger just with working the tri-leaf or the steer spring, and got it down to, I think I got it down to like 2.75 pounds, or basically 2 pounds 12 ounces. It felt really nice, had a good reset just with the factory trigger. And I did also don't like the polymer magwells, so I switched and grips. So I changed over to kept the polymer, put a steel magwell on it, adding a couple ounces and weight and balance. And so that was my initial first thing I did, was just tune the trigger and add a steel magwell to it for the weight. And I liked it. I said, this is nice, this is nice. Then I said, well, let's see if we can, how it's gonna tame it down. Added a weapons light, and then the optic. And it was like, yeah, this is feeling pretty good. I think it's really worth it. So the next step up is to go to an ignition kit, an Atlas trigger, retune that, and sent away for some supplemental porting. So this one has some additional porting. This one has 4 additional ports to go with the chunk comp. Sent that away to get that done. And then the last thing is to add aluminum grip to it. So I did that in stages, and it just depends on your budget. And people ask me about the budget. They said, what kind of budget do you set? Well, what I do is I look at, staccato is what people benchmark a 2011 after. Well, they trademarked that coined that phrase 2011 anyway. But the XC is kind of out of the budget. You can't call that a budget gun. And it's, it's like almost 4,500. So nowadays, by the time you get a plate or what have you, maybe even closer to 5 by the time you get the better trigger, the optic plate, and have to pay a little tax or something. So I think the middle of the road one is, basically that the staccato P, and I think that's coming in by the time you get it ready to shoot with a plate and an optic plate and all that stuff. You're in that 28 to 3 range. So I use that as my top end benchmark. So if I get basically a $1,000 gun, then I'm thinking, well, I'd like to hold the upgrades, to no more than the 1,000 as well. In that, so I know I'm going to come in under that mid-priced staccato range there. So like, to give you an example, a situation like this with the porting, the trigger job and ignition kit, you're looking around 4, and then a grip kit like this is around 4.5. So this one might have, with light and optic and everything, might have $1,200 in it, right? But that's with a Siley Chameleon, nice green dot, Streamlight TLR1 HL, and On Point Guns. This is a V2 grip, this diamond texture, something like that. So that's how I would determine, my budget. If I can come in that, low 2 range, then I have a real good performer. You can look back on my previous videos and see this gun shooting in action, and it just does a fabulous job. It's extremely accurate, a pleasure to shoot, just a nice firearm. So that would be one way to do it, is starting off and doing it in stages. Sometimes I'm like, let's just make it happen. So the next one I did it in just 2 stages. So let me get it out. Show clear. This right here is the Bursa, and you can see here it's totally been redone. TDS Gunworks Trenton did this one for me. I did it in 2 stages. It was first done with the factory polymer grip. I didn't really like the polymer grip. So then the second and final edition was this V3 grip kit in a black from On Point Guns, Michael out there, On Point Guns. So this one has V8 porting. It has additional slide machining, as you can see. It has V8 porting. It has chunk porting. It has a nice satin and polished two-tone finish. Of course, optic, RMSC footprint. I wasn't even thinking. I didn't have Trenton recut the optic plate, so I had to stick with RMSC, which I don't like. But this Gideon Judge XL is a really big windowed optic, and if you're sticking with RMSC and you're old or have trouble picking up the dot, I can highly recommend this Judge XL. And then, of course, I have a blacked out to go with this theme, a blacked out TLR1 HL light. So this thing is a fire-breathing dragon with the V8 ports and the mid-size chunk port. So this one was done with complete ignition kit, Atlas trigger, porting, slide machining, and all that. So it went from zero to hero just real quickly, just a total makeover, other than the grip. And then when the grip came in after the machining, then I installed the grip. And it's in its final phase now. So this was, this was a step up from the Mac. The Bursa started out in this stainless finish. The Bursa started out a little higher, I think, than the Mac, maybe $300 or so. I think the Bursa was, I think, in the street price is somewhere around 13, I guess. So you're starting out with a little bit more expensive pistol, but it's got, it was really butter smooth after I shot it at first. I was like, man, this one, no one would even have to upgrade this one. It had a real nice trigger out of the box. It cycled great out of the box. It was smooth. It wasn't oversprung as much as the other ones. I think it might have even had a 10-pound spring in it. It functioned flawlessly with all the different ammos. So this one didn't have to be upgraded, but I liked it so much. I got with Trenton and said, man, let's make this thing aesthetically pleasing. Let's make it a knockout visually and put some more performance in this thing for flat, smooth, and fast shooting. So that's what we did there. And then when it came back, man, this thing just deserves one more step up. So it just deserves the grip. So this is a little more expensive upgrade because you're looking at basically $460 or something like that for the grip kit, which is the mag catch, the grip, the grip safety blended in and deactivated, mainspring housing and mag weld, and the whole 9 yards, everything you need. So you're still looking in that high fours, 460, 470, something like that. Then by the time you do the ignition kit and the trigger, another $250, and then you got the machining and porting and all that. So you're looking at about the same cost of the gun. You're looking at about $1,300 in upgrades. And about a $1,300 gun is $2,600, and you put an optic and a light on it, and you're still under my $3,000 cap, because I figure a $2,600, $2,700 staccato P with a couple $100 optic on it, you're at $3,000 also. So I try to cap all my upgrades, gun upgrades, accessories at $3,000, and then I'll compare them against their nemesis, the staccato. so that's kind of how I rationalize that. And then sometimes I'll just say, heck with it, let's just have the vision, have the plan, and shoot it, break it in, and then send it off, and it's once and done. So I'll show you that. So we did a Mac, and we did a Bursa. We've done Romuluses, we've done Gersons, Match X's, Gerson Brat, Gerson Match. We've done Thesis, the bull barrel Thesis, and the bushing barrel Thesis. Upgraded everything. You didn't hear me mention the very first pistols I ever did upgrade in the 2011 platform. That was the Prodigies. If you see my previous videos, I've done like 7 Prodigies. So here is one. This is one of the top performing Prodigies I have ever had upgraded. This one started life. If you can see here, it has that chunk comp, and it would have had a rear sight back here. And you remember it had that old round top. This was the Prodigy comp, 5-inch comp model. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see some of the modifications. The slide has been flat topped. The front sight has been removed. So you can see it's a flat top instead of that round government profile top. It's got this nice pocket window cut in there. So you'll see there on each side. If you'll see, the serrations have also been window cut, and you can see here it has V8 porting. So it is a factory comp, or what they call a DS, a Prodigy DS comp or whatever. This is a chunk port, and it has V8 ports. And then in the factory serrations, it was just window cut for aesthetics and to remove weight, as are these pocket cuts. That's to remove reciprocating mass, remove slide weight, and then flat top also for aesthetics and to remove weight. Also running a TLR1. This one's running an enclosed 509T optic. Now this one right here has the Cosent arms, aluminum grip. It has the a steel magwell, pin and blended, EGW ignition kit, Atlas trigger, tuned right. I mean, this one is, it's I guess we can still tell, but it's right at maybe 2.2 pounds, very light, quick reset. So it's done in a, I can't remember the color on this, like a crushed silver, I believe it is, and then a bronze grip color. So now this one was, I just took it up there to Cosent Arms at Greg and spec'd out exactly what I wanted, just do it all at once. So after the customary 500 or so rounds, making sure it was doing its job out of the box, no issues. It was then just dropped off at Cosent Arms to do it all at one time. So there was no step-by-step on this. Now, with the total new refinish, the new paint job, or Cerakote job, the grip, the magwell, all the things in there, and the optic, a little bit more expensive optic with the 509T, a little heavier duty, a little more duty rated. This one pressed the envelope of the budget. So I'm trying to think in my mind here what this one went up to. I should have taken some notes, but you guys know me, I just go off the cuff. But let me see, the pistol was in the 13, 14. Yep, this one pressed the envelope because of the optic. This one might have exceeded my normal cap by about $100. And so this one is right at that 31. But it is what it is. The 509T was a little more expensive than some of the other, like the Gideon or the Siley or what have you. So there's how you have it. So for y'all that wonder about the upgrade procedure, the takeaways are: shoot the gun first, make sure that it's a keeper, make sure you like it, and then decide on your budget and decide if you're going all in like I did on this one, or you're going to basically take 1, 2, or 3 steps to get here. So the first step, I do believe, is always working on springs and the trigger. Then the second is maybe a weighted magwell, a flashlight, and an optic, to weight the gun down and all that. And then you can step into, do you need it ported? And then the final thing, it's always the last option I choose, is the grip upgrade, because that's really expensive. As the single piece, those grips are anywhere between $375 up to $600 or $700 for a grip, and that's assuming you know how to do it yourself, and you don't have to paint it or anything, DLC, Cerakote, PVD, whatever. You don't have to do any of that. So the grip is a big undertaking. You might have some labor involved. You might have some finishing, coating, etc. There might be some fitting. So I always leave that as the third option. This one was just all at once. But as you can see, if you remember just a minute ago, we talked about the Bursa. It was upgraded, and then after the fact, which is only a couple weeks, but after the fact is when the decision was made to go to the aluminum grip. I had one on order anyway, so when it came in, I just said, let me use it. So, but initially, you're just going to want that trigger done, and get the springs right, and get any weight and balance, weapons light, steel magwell, something like that. And the steel magwell I use is it's the Fusion. So just to give you an example, the standard polymer grip with a polymer magwell or aluminum magwell, like this one's an aluminum magwell. This was off the Mac 9. This is the Mac 9 factory trigger, factory grip, and it weighs 4.16 ounces, 4.16 ounces. So you take the same grip, the same grips. This one weighed the same. This was off the Gerson, but it's probably the same mold. Adding this fusion steel IDPA. It's got the little cut up here so it fits in the box right. I think that's it's a steel when they come in black or they come in stainless steel, but it adds basically about 2.1 ounces to it. So this thing was like 6.2 ounces. So it gets that little bit of weight down low to help with the gun. It helps brings that in the palm of your hand. So you're just, with a normal lightweight grip, you might have a little nose heaviness, especially when you add a weapons light. So when you add the optic, a little bit heavier grip or a magwell, you get that thing to settle and balance. So that's kind of where I'm at on how I do the upgrades. You can drop a comment if you need any questions answered about, what parts, what places I send stuff to. Most of that's in the videos on when I drop each gun video with the review or the upgrade. But thanks for tuning in. No range footage on this video, just going over the upgrades and all that. But each of these guns that you have seen on the table today have been shot at the range many times. And you can just kind of go through my previous videos. I think I got a couple hundred videos up. It'll show these at some point in time being shot for some speed drills, accuracy drills, just off Sunday gun day, fun days, etc. So thanks again. And if you haven't already done so, please hit that like button. Please share the video. And more importantly, double check and make sure you are subscribed. We'll see you next video. Thank you so much. This is Havoc, and I'm out.